Okay, so welcome to network security, and now we start with a new chapter as we completed the malware discussions, and now we start with various security protocols. Actually, yeah, there are quite a lot, so we'll more look at the basics, how to set up security protocols, what to look for, what options we have at hand that we can use. So to build more powerful, to achieve, to have protocols that do what we want them to do. So let's first elaborate on the options that we have to build protocols. And so one of the main principles that we can use is cryptography. I mean, if we want to secure our security goals such as authenticity, confidentiality, integrity, for most of those, we will need some kind of cryptography. Not for all. We have also other elements in our toolbox, but for most of them, it will be cryptography. So we will have a look at how this is used in practice in order to apply it to various layers and to achieve, authentication, message integrity, confidentiality, and so on. So where we will be have a look at. So first we will pick up cryptography again. I mean, we had it in the first lecture as a kind of essentials crash course, but we will go through it again very quickly. And then we will see how it is used at the various layers to provide the desired security goals. Okay, so let's look at the goals once again. So what we want to do is we want to achieve that we reach confidentiality, so that only the receiver should understand the message contents. So typically this is done through encryption. So the sender encrypts the message, the receiver decrypts the message, has to know the right key. And confidentiality actually means that the data is not accessible to not authorized persons. There's a difference in the definition. If you would say that confidentiality means that that only authorized users are able to read it, versus not authorized users are not able to read it. So, for example, if you burn a piece of paper with some secret on it, then it's still confidential because not authorized people are not able to read it. It means that the authorized person is also not able to read it, but that would still count as confidential. Authentication, that's the verification of the identity of the other entity, so of the sender or the receiver. Message integrity means, again, it is defined with a not. So basically, confidentiality is defined with a not, so no access for non-authorized users. Integrity means no modification of the message or the data without detection. So you can modify it, but it will be detected. And access and availability, that means must be accessible and available to users, to authorized users, not without unauthorized interruption. So basically here would be also written that authorized interruption is permitted. So if you patch your server and you update it and it's not available, then it's an authorized action to stop the availability. But then it would still count as available because it was not authorized stopping of the process and should be available to authorized entities. Again, we pick up Alice, Bob, and Trudy, let's say, and we will have a look at what they might do. So Alice and Bob wants to communicate. We have some third party that is able to interrupt or to listen to the channel to introduce new messages. And we will have a look at how the protocols, apply this on the various layers. This is always the core model, essentially. That can be everything. That can be web browsers. It can be anything on the application level, but it can be also on the network level, where it's about exchanging routing tables. It's also on TCP or UDP level, where basically the application itself does not want to know how the security is achieved. It just wants to focus on the protocol messages for HTTP, for example, or emailing. And somehow it assumes there's an underlying authentication and it's confidentiality service offered by the transport layer, so that the application layer doesn't have to deal with it. So actually it will be interesting on how and which layer we place this kind of functionality, so that the higher layers don't have to care about this kind of security. We know all what they can do. So basically what they can do, they can intercept messages. So basically it is assumed that every message can be read. So it's not assumed that there's some hidden secret channel. They can insert new messages into the connection. They can try to fake the identity of a person by modifying source addresses in packets or modifying any kind of fields. They can try to take over a connection by removing the sender or receiver and himself in the place. So basically this is some kind of, no, that's actually not even man in the middle. Yeah, it might be. So man in the middle. So what's the difference between impersonation and hijacking? So if A wants to communicate with B, Alice wants to communicate with Bob. So the first one is that Trudy just claims I am A, so please communicate with me. And the second approach is when Alice thinks this is Bob and Bob thinks this is Alice. And in between there is the man in the middle, Trudy. Yes, denial of services that we also covered in various forms when we talked about denial of service attacks, when it's about consuming or overloading the resource consumption at the recipient side, at any kind of party, and by this making it unable to serve valid customers. So we know, I mean, these elements we already know, so we just want to pick it up in this part. Now we will go a little bit from this. So we will recapitulate the cryptography part, as these are basic building blocks that we will need. I mean, we had it in lecture 1, but I will pick it up here again to summarize what tools we have at hand that we can use. Maybe just to have a look. Are the slides online already? Do you know? So do you have them? Otherwise I would upload it. So, okay. I have to upload it. Let me just see. Okay. So save as PDF.